Yes, neda hono yanka so media Sedina Tamakloe neda hono neda hono yes Ghana from enti oh my Ghana ebeye ni Ghana for me say me ka tell say okromfo enti me nhwe e ma ne yanko kromfo nyere enkodem ai okromfo enhwe ma ne yanko kromfo nyere enkodem Ghana for ene ya anti asempa ye da sori ya eye appeal court ese Sedina Tamakloe oba na court case wo ye kromfo court case we wie oman sika over 70 charges e board no se onkodem 10 years amra no wodi Ghana for sika $6 million no Ghana for sika to yenchema to kantamanto omo kantamanto hye sika ene circle hye sika ayeso ma me fa koma no oba besia me se NDC for ma omo hu che omo mema oba besia tibi di sika na court ni ko tumo odwane ko tena US no NDC for ba omo so makofa na ba na empenifo bebrebe ka se ba ya NDC for duma ba omo bejai Sedina Tamakloe no Ghana for would me say eno mejai no Omajina mana surprising kwofo Ghana for dwen ho a omo so won tie ase omo say hey sana NDC for tie chese omo bae omo di oman sika no omo ja court omaja omo say disika no ma court sa do makotu mu so awie so a ero so ba say ja omo Ghana for na message man ye hu kura wa asem say jana omo ja omo anya ne keke omo di ahyem say court bie no obi abetimi de sa lady na gina sa woman na gina Sedina Tamakloe obi no betimi de gina court dwom ti say omo Giant so amfa no huni eti me se de NDC fo aye me encourage obi a say me nko wie obi me se fa ho we ye kromfo afa ho be join political party na ma political party nwini na wini a wo fa o minus political party no so bokro no na wo bokro no ni wie so party ba ban mu a me se wo bokro no ni wie ska kese me nwia keto a wo wie kese so de kosi a o party no ye chi kwoto na o party ba ban kro be dey ebejaw NDC fo ade o maye me say o ma say o man Ghana awie corruption me say NDC ni bi na no so obe fight tie corruption nyakopon tue ne ka o kan nyakopon njam nani so yes say NDC ni bi na no e say obe fight tie corruption na so ka corruption se ma me say hon kokron njam nani so yes hon kokron njam nani so if say NDC fo ache so o mu ye nipa bonefo papa yes o mu ache so mu ye nipa bonefo Ghana for na me say areho na Ghana for penifo mi so do manu otum NPP for penifo mi ya do manu say hey NDC for mo ye fo papa Ghana for ba wo the answer bebo video ni bi a kire no message say channel ni di the voice of NSawamtv say ene first time o hwe mi video so a na wa subscribe to my YouTube channel na dey ama me wo wi na wa like no wa share no wa comment notification bell ba na do say me ato say be ya anytime be a voice of Nsawam me di new video to be a won sa so bit my day aka me Ghana for NDC for surprise me mo me ko hwemra
anaka na tu ebrum ye kopiemu court of appeal sa asembi kwa so na bia yebutia na anya oda yese abosumani ye kwa ne prensa na abo no pem na se emia wo kwa na chi no pem de enti ntasa ye de bo maame ambra bia atwa mu MASLOC wona na da no Sedina Tamakloe wo beka ya efiempinu ne aduonu na ene de ntasa bo no se nam ne nsa so wo manga na ya hwiri sika bi eni nti wonko no ne aban konhye efihye du na embra ye bubo no na sabra nkwa na maame no odiga no na wase ne hododo no ne ho mfa no enu e wo no wo bu ne ketem kopi mu amana ne America bruchuma mu seja wo kwa kwaje arehwede aba maami beba wo sumtwo ene se nanse antam ya wa ye ti se maami aba wo bepie mu airport anu mo yiri se ku a ene wo so ne kwa na duafie wonko dem afihye du no wonko twa yopo esansa abo ne de agya kwa ye nya no kwa asa agrakrakrakro ne mra ni fo se nya de wo mto mo ase ene ti wo matabiri asem de kopie mu a appeal court ene court kwa asetena PM panyina wotena adwam edi asem presiding judge justice Emmanuel Ankama wasi asem no wabo ato agu wa ne bonga latin tansana ye de to no so no mum no wabo tansana to agu itimame no wonfa no huni ene ebisa se wedi asem wedi ahyehye na so makonim ade nsa ya mankwanta ira no se nyono na bibi o se bibi ankoka papa enye grade na zambrenke zu besi ne trust ne wodi asase aka kire no wase kwadu bofo no wo mantimi ankyere bibi a kire se maame no wodi fo nke hu ye wutu mbra no wa kire se kura wutu no so na ado ano do ndwere so bi ngo eno an keka hunu saa enti wo gina so pa kas maame nkodem a na cheso no kora wa bre nyame wone maame na ninie na ko ba ne saa no maame Sedina Tamakloe ne mra ni fo wo twitwade age no ino dogbe eno ne ado kase bo atwetwe nkomo no so asam ne de frifrifrif te se wo ma gene ba ne mo hwe ne mu se ensam na nkasa no boa de panfo boa no enam so nti wode won sa beto dwa no wo mo sa beka.
In fact, for agreeing with our submissions, so we thank MASLOC for their erudite in it. However, we'll just wait for the entire judgment. MASLOC have said that the judgment will be ready by close of today. So we'll get copies of the judgment and then we can peruse it and then we can make comments subsequently. But I am a happy person and I believe my client will also be happy. In fact, I would say in terms of strategy, we had come essentially on 3 main grounds. On the fact that the charge sheet itself was defective, and then secondly that there was no proper prima facie determination against our client, and then of course we also attacked the judgment itself. So these were the grounds, but as you may have already heard, in fact the court only read their conclusion and then they only brought on the first leg of our submission, which was the defective charge sheet.
Embrani for no and artist who are then some to your watch room say I think one more and some new pudu nankasa buanankasa now for many digest and this animuka crack to sako conson na fe umatumi and among be also to be umatumi to nakuchum and centrania ye war desk hano woba on the jumana na high university it ye work your mom sharpum they want some so then your firma Tamakloe one and dom eba nigidia want some so and then you obey umu shayakwa Kobe life ai bafira bamu ya da wodu so jiram den ene ye wo mo twa ngoma sua won sam so e no so eye ayi ke amemo ene ni nuano mo na hweso ne ade e ba amanyo sam so de anana se apofuaje woni no otibire kasa woda wo mo ano kwa kotwu mo de ene titete ensem ahinta wo mu do su ko na fe wo makọ na wo makọ yidi aba ye friend research desk wona na da no wo baka yensa kwa gwe akwaba
Yanua kumi.
Ahwade ho de.
Obibi aboko.
Ye mongura ensam ni mu. Maame Sedina Tamakloe. Ene kwato so wonfa no ni. Asem na bosse na nkasa ene sen ehyaase breben. Ai dia bewie samre.
Yo mirase kumi. Dia wo mni se Maame Sedina Tamakloe. Ye nkan si so se oye NDC ni ebra atamils wo ho nyina na odi NDC mu akotene. Na emom na ebra obedi Jumedi ewo MASLOC se panyini ewo MASLOC na ye mfie mpemienu ene edumiensa ekosi bra NDC fia bemo mfie mpemienu ene edunsia ona na oda MASLOC ano na emom no mfie mpemienu ene edunson no that's 2017 NPP aban na bae na omo hyase ye nhwehwemu na eno na ye yoko for na hyase ye nhwehwemu tin nhwehwemu no kopie mu se wadi jumebi ewo MASLOC ono ma esese ye din ko gina court nti mfie mpemmie no ene dunkuno January 30 2019 ene ye din ko gina court ye din kan kra na emo nsam a omde ball no sa bre no na eye aduason wo 78 counts sa bre no nsam muamua fuafua baako 78 ene ye de ball no na de wo mu ni de din kan omde ball no eye stealing say bia wa bokro no ye tosu mienu conspiracy to steal na is oni manfo bi abopo so mbe wi o man no na e bi nso willfully causing financial loss to the state say
wahra mo minor boka odi o man ni sika bi akodi dwumadi ayansoma wo a o man na hwiri sika no na e bi nso no Seska bi eso odi kodi dwuma no wama ne nkwanta misappropriation no mo de kan ni nyina fo ano na be 78 count sabre no nti ye de ko gina court na mu nsam a egina supporting ye de ko gina court a ye bo ano e kodu 78 no ebi ni company bi ni ye friend no Obatampa microfinance omo ye so mba akwaje besia wo MASLOC 500,000 na mu na ko wi achi na omo hwe nsi hu e wo ho interest rate na omo hwe a emwa wo mo nti company no e ka say loan no nya de omo pe bi na omo na nyi bi na asem ni ko pie court no court nso prosecutor odi asem na nim no ka say eska no omo ahwe a omo ehu sa 500,000 na e say MASLOC company for adan ska no omo ma na nkwanta na na ebie nso no 2015 mo ho no ejabi we talk kantamanto ma president Mahama share say MASLOC enkonko boa kantamanto egwadifo na mu ska omutwaye 1.7 million Ghana cedis no say ska no nyeni na na koye na che say ye dia asem bi ayira
na asem sika ni bi mind kwanta ene ebie nso no the friend sensitization say bia wo diske wo bobby bi ho dero nti master dwumadie no oman mu nyina na yese omo nkobɔ ho dero na omo nkodi dwumadie
omo nkoye nkyerɛkyerɛ
mamamfo na eno ska omo di shame no eno nso no hwehwemu ne ba na yese nyi ska ni nyina ende kodi za adwuma na yese ska na omo man bi nkwanta ena ehyen ahodo a MASLOC ekoto esa abre no e o MASLOC aso ye onze omo machine any phones na de e ma adwadifo ne Ghana fo a omuhia bi de adijuma eno nso ska omodekoto ye ne omuhwemu a ehyen ahodo na omokoto ye na chese ska no the abroni be kan inflation na is ombu bi fa so
ska na ho no
aha ombu ska ni bi fa so nti ni nyina e no mo ka bomu a ekopie mu se intansa baako edioson wotwe 78 counts e no mo ye nemum court na nkasa hyase edi nasem 2019 January 30 as NPP by in Viemi no achi e no mo hyase edi nasem nti no kopie mu court na wo mu a be 2021 and oka say ne ho edodo no kakra nti no nko be call US abrochiman mu no wakosa ne ho yare kakra nti omo ye twema mentwe a nti no eho na court ne G2 mu say ne onye de nkosa ne ho yare mra nkosa ne ho yare nti freeze 2021 no okọ ya amohwe ni mu a wama nti 2022 mu ho no na omo ye say ne asem no mbedi agunachi nti 2023 and almost sign a pin assembly that is trial in absentia. Now see the assembly go achi.
When you cry, ebedi. Ya
why ye who says our brand so nani pamidu and the quay academy at the man Alex moved. Ene Gavivina Tamakloe. Sa brand so no this capoting at almost 5 million. So monko pemra is ans omna no mujinem at the mama me Sedina Tamakloe. Inte assembly no it was wa EBC 2024. April 13, 2024. And assembly did in a area a copy of Samame Sewasa Robotri or Tinemo Eka Sedina Tamakloe or Asamo Modia free sa 2019 BP 2024 Nadia not as assembly bonum. Into no uncle Defias in field. Na Sika a war. Sikabotia e wasem ne ho a o man na hwe ni nyina wo ka bomu anaye 90 million Ghana cedis. Eno ni sikabotia 90 million. Eno ni sikabotia
Ghana sikamono
Ghana
enye dada emono
90 million.
Ene die 90 million.
Yes.
Wo pepia di okono.
O kan sika ni nyina ebomu a intine ye de ne kotu mu a na Ghana ban eye na adwene se ne omo ko hwe na chi akwan. Intino the friend extradition law no mo hyase eyebi edibi koma US impending for so mo hwehwe no nti mfie mpemienu na aduonu num 2025 mo no na US impending for yes omo hu bebi owo January 6 na omo yes omo hu bebi owo na no nso omo koso ni mo eno nso kwaye court akwane abadia ntino afimu a January 6 na obeka ambassador Victor Smith e kan so omo hu bebi a Mami said na Tamakloe na emom na omo de na fa court kwan mu nti de ebesi bia no omo de na ba na we ka ya June 9 afimu a na yete say US for the na ba airport wa omo de na be she Ghana for nsa onzo obedru ye nso no information minister na government communication minister Felix Kwatio Fosuka so omo jano e de ama Ghana police service any prison penny for e go wi achi omo hwehwe nsemu obeka manase ne Crawford ka say da bi
oni prison ye rena ye hu no e no so amre wada wo fie no
ye twen ko ba ya wi achi se no odi ayasa isan so oba ye no yare bi se na ote huche mu na de na isan ho mfa no nti no di hospital atwentwi ya nti no June 24th June afiye mo na yete se afi di omo de na ma nsanwam ndedi afie mpanifo na omo de ne koye ekotuma o hyase se appeal no omo san ba so isan say oprinity ndi ewi echi ya ye ne twe mame nkomra na ne abepie mu se court of appeal mpanifo miensa etena so wiye no omo se dia all aban kwaduboni prosecutor no nsemo a ode baaye ene dia Sedina Tamakloe de baaye no as a Ghana prosecutor no no nsem ne munye duru emu ha nti omuntumi nyina so ma Sedina Tamakloe enko so an na prison nti de brofo kasem no acquittal and discharge. Now is in seminar aboni in egu wafano.
Ye come. You ye that's it. Eja. Enti kwakutum no. Research desk ho eno assembly nkyerɛ mu ni nyina free krenkren kosi krankran eno abɔ ne tofa edi aman no kwaku Ghana for the waswate mo ni adwuma pa a wo ye nti kwade assembly and discharge assembly wie nyina ne sɛ acquittal and discharge
yes Ghana for me say NCO sometimes this one so will become I sampan was this same way Ghana for mu de mo nkotie sampan ase no kan na e be surprise Ghana for mu nkotie
ensem a ekoso wo NDC yewura Mahama part 2 we say ehu papa hwe baabi a metie yi ene baabi a doctor tie yi eho enana notu agbesi etie ena omuka so mu de ne ban me ka se eye settings no mo de ne ba no ma begya no na ye scam no ba ko no me say bisa say obedru ye no ne nim ba bi owo last 2 weeks me bi say so ba he we ka say me ntwa asem no so me na me nim say from day 1 a mo ka say wo mo I started extradition there ben no mo de ne ba no mo de ne ba begya no so mra no ma di ne fetri ne akpele ne fetri na ne ho nto no
for 3
okay ena abamu no say aban we buy one high profile cases obi a no omo nam omo bank so amankrofo ahwiri sika twitwiri die enumpo NDC for digina so ye campaign one more near Susu, including current finance minister, Omas Maniedi. A buying we buy the first step, Attorney General, Yura, Dominic Ayeni, Ayeni say, or CBB, a friend, Nolly Prosecution. Minimni tree, lawyer never hay. Just a chance him no more. Munkof fear, Minyada, you come, you could disasem no. Say a year meritorious so. Senya meritorious so or so no dear on hwenim bonkum enhweni fa on peneton empene noa wo hwe aduane nyina to agu bonkum fie ya san bejai we nti say pa no wo mkofa time bi ba ya nti obi ye clearing agent nti say hwan pa na Ghana ha o ye clearing agent we yewura Mahama fiwa hwan na ye clearing agent emma implication of sa action see enra anana no togba fede atogli o can say be time amudi 150 years of Supreme Court or say ensem ekoso court dem ho ene de omususu say justice ni bi ye no emma yanya yeti oman yi mu no ye gidie e wo the judicial system no ekofom 2 politically one eto abama yen si emebu oman no gidi a wo mo wo yemu no it will continue to sink because as some ye beka no enya no yedi so enti aden enti court no men kokan makoye contempt of court bia na mom court ba ko adi ma me no akasa edi ensem ni bi ho gi tumo sika no na ase yemfa koma edwomfo no na ankoduru no o ka se ska nego account wo ko account next ka no it is kind of fine won't media no budget ya the circumstantial evidence call them 20 years onu de no budget enti ya masim no akoni say ya nana yawo ya de high ho so man na nye esi ya man ya nyina esi ya trase nka president Mahama otimi hu said the man attorney general na crofo ya high profile cases obi aba kofi ekodi kokodi fufu kokodi du akpele kokodi acheke koye we say no nana yawo say o man no ya hwen kan die Supreme Court say Ghana or chiremu say political parties
say
prosecutions have them and to me improve beyond reasonable doubt.
I am the assemble bad debut. Assemble bad debut. Assemble bad
Debbie, I bet born assemble. Okay, remis.
I hadn't some one teacher my own to me. He said, I'm more born, a chain on I'm more born. He said, be a short will be an expectation. He said, let your own to know how to. He said, the power no come confirm. You cook the army. The panny okay. The man at baby will be a told I never do you a free baby. Not walk baby. As a Duncan rather say. The kids no na yes sir no na akotu galam say dem mum dwumadi ade ama no so adane am obi aye na yagina so o twamfie adu mu 20 years na me nua bai ye mo oba adwuma ye me dama cause my ye boa society a ban sesan e bu akonta yes ye ka say 90 million na abeda ho na hodo to no kohwe no ho yare aba wa ma oba no na se nyina dudu ti wiji mo amu no ni na enu ani nansa the case has been acquitted and discharged e bi na nkoka ya nkofo na de wito fo to se memese me woni asofo de etie ni the new patriotic party nim say majority of them can read, write and understand obia so to say when asem pana sini mo ho hu say oh akwanya na ba menye de birebi me dim na wo bi tai so wo so anya story for from me no obi adane hu futufo hene me kopa chew na me nim ampani ye kam me kopa chew ma ni pasmesi we had our MPs on beka kire say double salary ani ye kan wase ye twen dai o me na kopa ampani agufo ado a chew onse no na boti afefe we wo me wo na kokofo me nsa na ahia wo ye bon koma ye sere se ko ba so obo ni say mo mfa no nko ye de me be ko that is how we when this what ye ba fani ye ni ne ko school we ba kra ne ba wo ho e na tra classroom en sibiem ese she is acquainted and discharged chema untumi emra ne nda ye ni nkaso wate afia ho pati ma ka kire wo kakra bi afia okay wate okay chema untumi ubaye okay but what is the relation on your so your political prison what is the relation ubaye okay what is the relation
Sedina Tamakloe.
But I saw you kind of confound and I saw for him. Now I saw you sick. And I said, be as a bubble for this cabbage. I do not intend to disrespect. And if you're big judgment, can I not bubble for the Nako to me? You're charging. And what about one on tap or trampling? It's a few weeks. She has taking decision. Got not taking decision. What to corner be taking decision. Tina make sure me regional chairman.
I want to maybe some question be say.
Oti make sure me regional chairman.
Share.
Na mo the case akwa me mo bi so asem. Ya ba mu fie nwotwe. Good years. Me ka se mfo bi nkoto wo abra onye hwe. Ya ntini anya hwe because ko fa give full goods in say wiem the chow pan na. Pa chow. When some of us we hear some of these things, it shuts us down. It doesn't break us, it shuts us down. We ma kontia en fie wotwe no enti ye nya case amobia oboba ya msi we case ya kwente ya discharge ye nya interested because obia di obia no wrong na man kwan or yes say there was no wrongdoing but ye ne die e bi nam kan say asofo me papa no asofo ni we mu obi atumfo me ntie no asechire na me kire we also say there was no wrongdoing but ye dey there's every wrong with it. What is say no about say ye dey big bonne
otie ruling now judge says what can say the prosecution could not prove
beyond reasonable doubt.
Just say abakwa du bofo no bofo enyina so a ogina so so de bokwa du otimi amokwa edu a emu odu chesa simese na so biti se na Tamakloe kwa bi edi ball ni weni wa fom pa ntino
nti yemfa ne nkotum fie se na abaya sesa wade bem abaya sesa ya sesa niambam abaya sesa ya niambam pato o ka sa ye din agbajo also why you happy who bought some crack out but I'm assuring you 2020 now baba try ye no ba chi so ba me dimo ka wasa am o bon some pow if you na sabre bi bia fo aso o bia na bia fo aso na wa mu kwa bia fo aso na ba ti mo bon papa de tie ni pato o se aban kwa du fo that time aban kwadu before that time no say the one about sere no be sere sa me be about wa mo kwadu obenye want me prove beyond reasonable doubt me mo a ohura ya we di chama huntumi ase wo do prove beyond every reasonable doubt me be papa but outi chama ka wakoma to ye mu okobo jay last statement also work hard and bring the party to power obi abetimi adwene bibi odwene me amanyoni me betina me mfa microphone sima no me bo gospel eto microphone no konso ye chi eye political party asam na me ka na ha it's me assure me chairman na minim de me ka
ye hwe bibi abra na atemu no koso
ka fa ye si achew
na atemu no koso ni nyina
e je se no pato bi wa ba ma woni scambo
na oni ha leba
wa ya de
leba na oni ha ana yebu asem no se wa fia brocha bedu no wahunu say wabeyi no ho ano ono akasa ba beyi no ho ano
it's na stop in the time yeah friend I want to buy a man say judgment what stop them from coming sabre no na ebia oni ho ntini ye bokọ adu na so ono abetua yi no ho ano ade wo amosem na me fa ye nyem na me fa ye sika na mosem adu na ye sei na ye sei sabre oni ho ntini nya no sa say no ba wa ko yi no ho ano
oba bedu ye no
wa ko yi no ho ano
bi phone no na camera me sana wa ha no oh, that
diagram yeah, we will show any illustration. I'm sure some time will come. You do the same illustration. I trust you. No, me too. I say no. I trust you.
When you're crying, when you're crying, I'm a court to say Sabran kwadu bofo na mmokwa du ni ye te wura wo son
what one family won body eja wo bi excuse me mama sambam o say anya no wo de question your statement na wo ka say de ba bia ye tie any ha bofo di o man die no anu mo wo tie so ye di asem no oni ha wantimi anyi na no phone no kura na ha ba bia ye example na wo ye so ma won to be time ha ye man 20 years no ne kotu galam say no tie judgment no ba he nyina yakra
we no so no wo to be yin no
na me lawyer wai na lawyer asem de na ni mu ono ba kire sa ha ne ha no no so no lawyer ni
so no bo asem ni ba
ya ma judgment na wo ma me no ya ma judgment no ya ma lawyer amfra na ye so ntia po wada emergency ambulance kura ba do fa no ba bi oda kura nye 20 mi ma oba ga na esi otu hiche mo se no honam nye wa honhono wa dodo ne honam dodo ne mfini ba bi tutu no ontimi nko but wa tire hiche ma na so nante no kokot abra ba ne starting na some ye dia ya ante ho hwe ya ante ho machi ya ante ho de nia asam se dia yo court ontimi kan wa
oba na nsen
oh
na court
na court na saso e dem pato ni dim won say wo bi sam say ya na senye e ya na senye ma mtuma party fo wo mo be dia ban udie omo aban ne political party ne we ne pa wo mbedi post pato ani diem dia akoso ya na senye bibi some party fo obana na me kan ye no
anu nie then for unyi ni say it's an opportunity for Kenufurata to come because mamini ni woni ti no high court me pacho high court
anya ya masam anyi masam se Kenufurata ba so anyi masam da I'm funny ho I catch now one
I know opportunity.
What you tell me?
Some hope and in our judiciary system as well as even as a politician. It's say the responsibility be esha there are a lot of things that goes on. Na say yama pepepeyo anye na bia we pass judgment probably on emotions or political witch hunting any idea. Emma some of us activists, political activists. And then maamena bagana. The lawyers edu omonsem akwako down appeals court. Appeals court eyi omuhwehwe mu almost say a prosecutor and engineer so no went me and domusuko doko amaye who say maame no charges na omoye dey wo mo de born ni hina no she can be convicted and I think say it is in order say obi will be bifufro be a present here wo mo famra and yes I think say it's in order. It also gives us hope and confidence in our rule of law and then come out here yedi free ye papa Apostle Joseph. Let me say that we share earlier on conversation we are now here and the Supreme Court ruling over the buyer with regards to monetization of our elections. Clearly, who says generally Ghanaians are getting a lot of confidence in our judicial system. We can always test the law and make sure say pepepeyo. And yes, I say I'm training and testing law. Near we say law emrano emwording. And yes, I better me be minia. Obi di kwe du kakra bi bo wa na ye the wo say.
Na so bi so be ka say. A judge for na tina asem so bu asem no sabre no. No mu enya bra koro ya na ye adwuma say. Answer na prosecution be ba wani mu abe convince court no. Nama court na gine samatumu no. So to be proved beyond reasonable doubt to say asemesi di bone na mpa. Nti sabre na temuafo na ebu attend sabre no. What exactly went on?
Can you say in terms of our court systems we have various levels?
Okay.
Senka High Court no your final decision maker and there wouldn't have been the need for even appeal and access Supreme Court and unti and a processes near there into why your member charges are when you're satisfied now one cause I wouldn't say and you may be uncle years and who expecting you can take it to the next level and I think that is what the lawyers have done. So be yourself flow be a car the person equally has that right, but for now they clearly no maybe said the rule of law is at play and then we are all experiencing it. So one testing law now you wouldn't know what is at stake and what is your freedom. I think I am totally in support of it. It gives me hope, absolute hope. Say empono that now you have the right lawyers. I'll make me charge na embrano it's working now. I think it's in order. I am really excited about this news. I am happy. So we have tested the law and we are seeing the outcome, the benefits of it.
Yes, Ghana for NDC for enkwasiade omoka. So so mo de enkwasiade omoka. Anu sa afrafra Antoni ba no. So omu jimi, omo so ba na o de ye okrum hanom. Mesi ye okrum hanom na memwo bedane. Amemu bedane. It's only Jennifer Queen so ya adwen so me hu adwen kire e wo comment section honom. It say NPP be power. Yesu yenyai yenkofo no a NDC fadu omu kwatutum no. Yesu yenyai omu ana. Se wo giri se NPP so be power. Yesu yenyai yenkofo no a trust yes. Yesu yenyai omu try yes was yo. Emfise NDC for enye nipa nche NPP for. Ana say no say enye gan NPP for nkwa na ye be ye oman ni yo. It is NDC for so oman say a yesu ye be boam na ye den. I say, na Ghana for Miss Brandon Akubom. I welcome you. Me yes, me kasana me di yaw e wo makumem. Me di yaw papa wo makumem. Na me say NPP for chairman won to me. Adie bia mo beye NPP for mo gina court. Adie bia mo beye ama NPP aba power no. Munya me NPP ne dey emra power. Ni e ba e be jam. Eye promise ye be jam ni ama NDC for so ide akogum say sa na ye we bo say 4 years we ebedi ade a wokwa na ne nkofo ya chi o magum na do be ba no so be diskadi bia na we suba no be sa na ye be ye say ye we be bo first half na we be bo second half ye chi we gum we na we ya chi we gum na ye jeja ye ho sa me say papa anya we abone nya we me kana for me hu adwen kire etiyeso ye ba chama wontumi ye nya na se me ye nyan no Ghana for mummy whom I didn't comment section one. And video NC yo, with a mummy and quote here at Twasso, with a mummy and quote, no more who the Ghana for be kaya, a share but the NDC for yen name womu or what NDC name and party and so can you have any money because I confront qua and I confront me to my young confront and quotum Ghana for mummy and quote umra.
Court of Appeal acquits and discharges former MASLOC CEO, Sedina Tamakloe. Hey. Anyway, we be no baby sade Sedina Tamakloe or Hona Benton watching Abenton was Wunjan. Sedina Tamakloe was the CEO for MASLOC. Ebisade MASLOC Bada. MASLOC is microfinance and small loan center. A buying center or this where they say a business as a small scale business person. Bra say what should I say or ya there that invest woman buying this cabin or the beshim. In the year 2013 to 2017, Mami na no CEO. Them time na NDC abang no President Mahama na no oil president. In 2024, court tina odi no hu de during my many time no nyama bi kodo a ankoye nti ede oba no be yi nsema no oguda work na asem no so de edo okọ abrochi kwaje ayaresa oya America ma me no koye no wamba bio na court is one tina do no won kodo won yeden won ka asem no. They went on with the case and they prosecuted her 10 years imprisonment. Cases in the Bia Bonini, stealing, causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, procurement related offenses, improper payment of public funds. Over 70 charges in our bond to the tune of $6 million. And these are by they were able to secure her extradition back to Ghana. And if you know how extradition works, you would understand that you, the country, asking for somebody to be extradited to your country, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you can weigh the bond. In the NDC Abayano, the judicial system no, were able to send all facts to America to convince America there, Mahaman Edoba, no be face law. Ampa US Tase were extradited by more but through Facebook, justice has no borders. And the Mami Beduha, Court of Appeal no Ghana no, catch a yen there. Courts now will and to prove beyond reasonable doubt. They didn't have concrete evidence against her until they've acquitted and discharged her. Jack, right? It's one of your MPP NDC. Now we am a mobile. Now we am a mobile. A bentina mutu model evidence of quite Emma wotu more than a buy. Kenofriata, we've not been able to prove beyond reasonable doubt there. One fan of my into one fan of my but my minity would to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. Actually, my minity mashada, na moya kanana. Na monye ne lawyers na shesha yanka ndi na onko against mamani ya fanambra di enja. Se obi kwa jina forest na oko wia nama. Obe jailing. Obi ko wia church organs. Obe jailing. Obi ko wia buyer iPhone. Obe jailing. Obi wia $6 million onko si hwe. Se si ane ama dem chema wontumi na na mochi wontum na se si ane kenofriata na ina mama ya tase de oya witch hunt. You don't really want to fight corruption. Resetting na mahama de bi okana na a fake. Accountability na de it is settings. When you abain kuna otwem no moye pe.
The first time I reviewed the documents personally, when the copies were made for us to have a look at it by the Attorney General and to have a conference to discuss the details, I actually cringed. I couldn't believe it. The facts were like they were concocted, to be very honest with you. The facts were like they were concocted. Because this was not just stealing, but as to borrow a word from Dog, naked thievery. You know, in one of the charges, something, do you know what happened? The boss of MASLOC decided to give a loan to a rural bank. And they did not even reach any agreement. Yet the money was transferred to the rural bank. When the money got to the account of the rural bank, the people then asked, okay, so what is the interest rate of the money you have sent to us? Imagine something that you should have done earlier was not even done. Then the interest rate was then quoted by Sedina. When the interest rate was quoted, the rural bank management said, look, the interest rate you have quoted, if we pick this money, we cannot make any money out of it, so we want to return it to you. What do? Good corporate practice. You write to them and give your account, MASLOC account. Then they pay the money directly into the account and produce receipt for accountability purposes. You know what she said? She directed them to cash the money and bring it to Accra. And then they cashed the money in a Ghana must go, carried it to Accra. They met at Bachona filling station, Total filling station, and the money was packed into her boot and she drove away. And that ended it. She's been convicted of that particular charge.
Yeah. So
then the second one.
Yes.
I'm giving you, I'm just itemizing them because I have the facts. I don't need to even read anything.
Yeah.
The second one, they were supposed to do some nationwide sensitization workshops for some category of persons with respect to matters like this. The money was about 2 million Ghana cedis. Less than 5% was used for the intended purpose. The rest was shared. As if it was ground nuts. Look, there was a fire disaster in one of the markets. Some money was allocated to help the victims. Just a little percentage of it was used. The rest, they shared it. There were some phones they had to buy. One on the market, 100 cedis. The prices they quoted, 400 each. Clearly, some vehicles were procured. In fact, those vehicles even delayed the trial. Because we had finished all the charges, and then we bumped on a report which indicated that vehicles had been bought, some of them at thrice the market price. Some at thrice the market price. Some at twice the market price. We had to amend our charges to include all these. And remember that they were found guilty of over 70 charges. All of them.
78.
Yes. In fact, it is one of the most nauseating cases I have come across in legal prosecution. Because the act of impunity, naked thievery and robbery perpetuated by them was frightening. And you see, when the judgment was read, I posted something on my social media handle. I indicated that it was not a moment for anybody to celebrate. It was not a moment for anybody to be joyous, but for us all to have a sober reflection.
In fact, Chia Yeboah, after Chia Yeboah, has been saying, all those in office now, take a cue.
That's what I'm just coming to say. You see, you have to be very, very careful. Day of accountability will come. And when it comes, you will be in that dock alone. And the wheels of justice may grind slowly, but in the end, when the pronouncement is made and you are taken away to Insawam, you would come to the realization that acts of impunity cannot go unpunished and go forever. If you look at the conduct of even the principal person, which even made Justice Sefia Sewa very angry. I mean, that the state didn't take enough steps or action to be able to have her in Ghana to face trial. Because clearly whatever she did it in order to evade conviction. That was why they had to try her in absentia in line with the constitutional principle and dictate. But I'm saying this again, that those in office now ought to take a cue from this. And this is the third time, and all those cases passed through my hand anyway, as Deputy Attorney General in charge of criminal prosecution. This is the third case of a very nauseating nature. The first one was NCA. At a point in time, some money was shared like groundnuts, and they secured conviction. Then this one. And the third one, you remember, venture capital. Do you remember venture capital? In that particular case, they had to take advantage of Section 35 of the Courts Act. And then they did a plea bargain. They were convicted, and then they went ahead to pay. If you look at a combination of these cases and the convictions that have been secured, and then at least the amounts of money involved and etc., a lot would have been saved to this nation. But as I have stated time and again, those in office now ought to take a clue from this. And I thank my brother Chia Yeboah for the statement he has made. They have to take a cue. Because it is very, very, very juicy.
Initially, the court,
dip your hand in there and fetch.
Initially, the court, there were people who were very critical about the court, that it was not being sympathetic, she was not well, she needed bail to be able, she needed the opportunity to travel, take care of herself. And this was like a media trial. And eventually the court had to succumb and say, well, go and take care of yourself and come. And she goes, she doesn't come.
She doesn't come.
The question Ghanaians are asking now is this judgment as empty as the paper?
Well, something, remember that even at the initial stages, I thought that there was going to be another step that would have been taken, an international collaboration to get her brought back for face justice.
We're told
but if you try that, you know, most of the countries up there, they will think there is political persecution, and so they will not allow it. They will even extradite the person. But now that we have secured conviction, the person is a convict, and you have to come and serve your sentence. So what they now need to do is to collaborate with the U.S. authorities and the anti-corruption agencies there to ensure that the person is extradited to come and serve the term.
Ghana for ya uhuru ya nim ekosoro. All right, yet kurom ha say omo asabe yen convicti omo kra no. Look at the sort of rumble style amokoche omo. Look at the sort of Black Maria and amode chi omo ewo Ghana for dan nyina. Obi aya convicti no. Na ya extradite no. Ye de ni beduru Ghana mo se mo maye nhunu. Muma ye nhunu ni picture ni entity ampo se waba beduru Ghana abonten so eya na mo ka se sebi ya wohuru ya nim kosoro. All right, we ye nim se clearing agent for no abusua
Omobeba be clear is a CIA. Omobeba be clear is a CIA. We know, say, you people have had a plan to free Sedina the moment he touches ground in Ghana. All right? And until you people are hide. Ghana, I see.
In fact, for agreeing with our submissions, so we thank MASLOC for their erudite reasoning. However, we would just wait for the entire judgment. MASLOC have said that the judgment will be ready by close of today. So we'll take get copies of the judgment, and then we can peruse it, and then we can make comments subsequently. But I am a happy person, and I believe my client is also will also be happy.
Essentially, what was the gravity or government of your appeal before the Court of Appeal? What were the grounds that you were seeking for the Court of Appeal?
Oh, in fact, I would say in terms of strategy, okay, we had come essentially on 3 main grounds. On the fact that the charge sheet itself was defective, and then secondly that in fact there was no prima facie proper prima facie determination against our client, and then of course we also attacked the judgment itself. So these were the grounds, but as you may have already heard, in fact the court only read their conclusion, and then they only dwelt on the first leg of our submission, which was the defective charge sheet.
As you speak, what's the state of your client? How is she doing now?
Well, I'm yet to speak to her, but I mean, as we all know, she's in Sawam, and I'm sure she may have already heard the news, so I'm sure she'll be happy. Yeah. I don't have such instructions now, but I'm going to sit with my client, and then on the basis of the judgment, we'll see what steps we can take, if any. Thank you.
Yes, Ghana for Mami who are doing share, the aya na aye, or mine is said, I see we. Ghana for me say, Attorney General, and question the cross said, I want Tiasia, on to Michelle, Satis a bank one, Ghana for the answer money better no. Na NDC fire defi. Eti afọ mama me hu ma benje Attorney General so want ase o de beko court o be de beko appeal the NDA decision ni de nya oboa wa chede ye so de won kan bi enso Ghana for o ma ya ade amana hye ene ma bema bu rough say ade ye nyina chi say mo de mo mpa ma NPP mra power. That is the only thing. Mo mpa ma Dr. Mohammed Bawumia emra na doctor so emhwe ye hwe the doctor betima ye na me mo gide wo doctor mo say doctor pe and be use technology with the AI be stop us ani ma we na sika no krampo no o ma na nya akono kra na say o ma won san kan kra no ayre wa kudi na obi ba obe de wa bijao it Ghana for ma me hu adwenche ti the NDC fo ye eye on mine ebekoso ye di say et eye ye ho a on mine ebekoso ana ma me hu adwenche nye share emani pattern e wo Facebook share many pattern e wo ye friend say WhatsApp political platform bi oyere wo so bia until say Ghana fo nyina ansa beka ehun say de o majai okromfo Sedina Tamakloe. Yes, o majai na o so wonye kromfo ebim according to NDC for me that's